Hi guys, right. So this is question 82. A slightly trickier question, but if we look at it carefully, we can see what's going on. We're interested in valuing the opening work in progress using the FIFO method. The reason why we use the FIFO method, or why they want us to use the FIFO method, is that sometimes we need to finish. Um, we're not mixing the products together per se, and we need to finish making one set of units. These are very separate units, so that's the point. So these could be these opening work in progress units are very different to the units that are being made. So I repeat, these opening work in progress units are different. They are different units, if you like, to the unit. When I say different units, they're not mixable. Think of them as individual boxes or something, and um, they're not like chemicals that we can mix everything together. So we have to think about it slightly differently. So in a way, it's sort of saying, look, so far you have made these partially finished goods, these 300 partially finished goods, and you've invested this so far, right? So that's not a problem. But this is the degree of your completion. So you've made these 300 partially finished units. So let's just say this is material, but you are 100% complete with the process. So you are 100% complete times 300 units, but with your conversion, you are 60% complete with your conversion. So you have therefore finished making the equivalent units of 60 times 300, which is 180 units. So you have work in progress that is 300 units complete for materials and um, 180 units complete for equivalent units, right? That's the point. Now, let's just change my pen color. So what this means, first of all, is that when we start the next process the next day, we will complete, of course. The aim is that some of the energy or the time and effort in terms of material and conversion that go in will first of all aim to complete the opening work in progress. What's interesting here is that because these are already complete in terms of materials, we're only really focused on completing the opening work in progress, right? In terms of labor, because the material section of it is complete. It's just the labor element that's outstanding. Well, so let's look at that. So they tell us, listen, at the end of this, you put in all the units, you put in 700 units in terms of to start working on. So technically, you will have 1,000 units at the end, right? So you have the aim is to have 1,000 finished units. But when you put this in, we notice that what comes out at the end is 800 complete units. So you're going to put everything in, and what we now notice is that you have 800 complete units and 200, if you like, work in progress units. So in the end, when you now finish all of this, with of course including your opening work in progress, you would have completed, your process would have completed another 500, because you see that this 800 is really the sum of the initial 300, of course, plus the 500. And you would also have completed, if you like, the work in progress here of 500 units. Of course, you would have all these would be now complete, but you would also have another, I'll just change my pen color, situation where you would have at the end 200 work in progress units, which would be complete. It tells us by material of 100%. And you would also have these 200 units, which would be complete by conversion by 70%. So this is important, right? So this is what's really what you can see. The only way you have completed units of 800 is you pour everything, you start making those 700 units. You would, the reason why you have 800 is because you would have, of course, 300 complete from the first, 500, of course, complete in the process. So these are all complete at 100%. These are all complete now at 100% by the time, and you would also have completed this by 100%. So you can see my purple color. I've put in all my energy. I will complete um, these partially finished units. So in effect, what I'm doing here is I currently am at 180. So by the time this is complete, I would have basically put in energy to complete this by 120 equivalent units to bring this up to 300, right? So I'm currently at 180. I'm going to do some work on this, and the work I will do will cover 120 equivalent units. Then I will have 500 equivalent units, and then I will also have the closing work in progress, which is made up of 200 completely finished units of material, but 200 units at 70%. And so the question then means that what we can see here clearly was that this energy that went in, covered this process in purple, right? This energy that went in covered this process in purple. So I can find what the cost is, if you like, per equivalent unit for materials and for labor. That's really the task that we have in front of us, right? So let's do that. Let's just focus on the labor. When we poured in this conversion energy of 4484, what we did was we did three things. We completed the opening inventory, so we completed the 120 equivalent units, if you like, to bring those now up to the full 300. We completed the 500 complete units, of course, in the process, which is why we now have a total of course, because when the question says you have a total of 800 complete units, what they mean is you have the 180 from before, but I'm just interested for now in just calculating the 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 cost of an equivalent unit of what we've spent during the process, right? Because we're not mixing the products. It's important to highlight that. This just goes in and completes this, makes this, and I've also done 200 at 70%, right? Because of 70% conversion, which is in effect 140 equivalent units. So you have here 140 equivalent units. So I can only add equivalent units. We've been doing this all day to kind of build to this. Right? So I have 120. I have 120 plus 500 plus 140, which is 760. So I have spent 4,484 on 760 equivalent units. So I can find what the cost is of an equivalent unit, and therefore that is 4484 divided by 760. And I have here £5.90. I can do exactly the same thing here. It means because these were already complete when they came in, and I've only used this energy of 2170 on this process. So I've spent, in effect, just doing what we thought we would do, 700 complete units, which therefore is 2170 divided by 700, 2170 divided by 700, which is £3.10. And so that's how we find that. That's really the process I want you to capture and work on in terms of understanding. What am I doing? I'm only focusing on the inputs that went in during the period 2. But what did we do in period 2 is the question. We completed the old stock, did the complete stock, and also did what we did for closing work in progress, with however far we got to with our closing work in progress. So we need to just find what those values are, and then we can value anything we need to do. Now I can value, now any question I get, if a question says calculate the value of the completed output, I can do that, and the closing work in progress, I can do that. I can do anything. I can find what this value is because I know I have these values. So when the question says calculate the completed output, well, my completed output in effect here is now, well, I know I'll just change my blue color so I can keep this all color coded. That's the value of my initial opening work in progress. I mean, we have a completed output of 800 units, don't we? We have a completed output of 800 units. Well, how did we get here? Well, we have the first 300 units, which that we know. So we have here this 1 as my opening work in progress valued. I'm not mixing it, so I'm keeping it separate. You can see, so I'm having 1150 plus 2,700. Then I'm going to change my pen color to purple and deal with the what I spent. Remember, I spent time just finishing off that opening work in progress via this, right? So that was 120 equivalent units, and it was only labor I was doing. So finishing off the opening work in progress, that was £5.90 times the 120 equivalent units, right? So equals, right? So I finished that off. And then I had, of course, the 500 units we actually did finish. So we had the 500 units that we finished, 500 units at labor, £3.10, and 500 units at conversion, £5.90. So this is, if you like, your total 800 complete units, right? This have come in blue from the initial 300 bits that we had fully completed or completed. This was the bit that this was not fully completed, but almost completed, except for this labor bit, which we completed in the next period. We've done that. Then we have the 500 that we did complete, bringing this to 800, isn't it? Because this is now complete, and therefore a total of 300 units plus the 500 units we also completed. So let's add those together. So you have 1150 plus 2700. So you have here 3850. And then here we have the £5.90 times the 120. Here we have 708. Here we have 500 times £3.10. Here we have 1550. And here we have 500 times £5.90. And we have 2950. So we can find what the total value of our closing work in progress is by adding all these together. Plus 708 plus 3850, which is 9058. So completed output 9058. In terms of closing work in progress, we are literally, again, just attacking this area. We are 200 units complete at 100% and 140 equivalent units complete. And so, therefore, we have 200 units complete at £3.10 plus 140 units complete at £5.90. Right, and so we can just do that. So that's 200 times £3.10, 620 plus 140 units times £5.90, which is 826 plus 620, which is 1446. So the answer here is 1446. So slightly different to the closing work in progress, but I mean, these are growth questions. You know, we come back to these. So there's no need to panic. Just come back again and again, and you get better and faster at them. Yeah. Okay. Great stuff.